What up, YouTube? It's Two Fat Guys Pull List, and we have another breaking news, comic book breaking news.
No.
We just started the week, and we're already getting more breaking news in the comic book industry. And this one, it seems like it's a big one, but maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. We'll dig deeper. Dig in with us, please. Anyway, Bad Idea is over. Upstart comic book publisher announces closure. Bad Idea, the comic book company founded by several former Valiant Entertainment mainstays, announces plans to cease operations by the end of the year in 2021.
Oh, God. Bad Idea, the comic book company spearheaded by Hunter Goranson, Dinesh Shamdasani, and Warren Simmons. Oh, wait, also Adam Freeman and Josh Johns. My God. A lot of Valiant people. Confirmed its plans to cease operations, even though that's not quite what they said. Right. Their exact quote that they put on Twitter and everything else is, "We regret to inform you that despite our best efforts and all of your wonderful support, Bad Idea as we know it must end. Our sincerest thanks for the incredible journey. We will be announcing and releasing books through the end of the year. Beyond that, Bad Idea is over."
Bum, bum, bum. So, the article goes on to, explain what Bad Idea is. Essentially, they were founded in 2020. I think there were only 200 shops that were technically allowed to sell Bad Idea comics. Mm-hmm. They had a bunch of different rules, like, you couldn't sell them past or over the actual price on the book. You couldn't, a retailer couldn't take their copies and sell them on eBay the next day and overcharge for them. Yeah. I think there was a 30-day wait on every issue, until you could do that. Essentially, you couldn't scalp your guys. You couldn't scalp your patrons. And then apparently there were no variant covers, there were no digital copies, no collected editions. So it's all single issues. And then after the first print, the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, whatever prints of books would not have the edition on them. It would just say
not first print.
Not first print. So, they did things a little differently. And then they actually punished a lot of shops that, or not a lot, I think in total, it was three or four.
It might have been more than that.
Yeah, the shops they got, they put their hand in the cookie jar and ended up getting expelled. And then we got new shops that picked them up. One of the shops that got picked up after one of the first shops that got kicked out was Neighborhood Comics, which is in Savannah, Georgia, I believe. And the only reason why I know that is because I bought one of my Thanos Wins, actually number 13 from that shop because he actually had it. And so that was one of the, pandemic buys for me. So
nice.
Now they're selling Bad Idea comics, which I think is really kick-ass. But apparently it's all over.
Literally no, not at all. Not even the slightest bit. So the whole thing of Bad Idea, right, is that it's a literal, I don't want to use the word gimmick, but it's a literal, some people say gimmick, some people would say troll, some people would say industry experiment. I think that's the best way to put it. The coming up with all of these rules, coming up with basically, random things that are literally bad ideas. The very first book they put out was ENIAC, and the entire back of it was all barcodes, and they didn't all work. And you tried to scan them, and if you didn't scan the right one, you couldn't scan it into the computer to actually ring it up.
Right.
That's a pretty bad idea.
Pretty bad idea, yeah.
Coming out with a limited amount of shops, a lot of people on social media were upset about that.
Well, especially when you have Key Collector, when ENIAC #1 came out, Key Collector was this is, the hype on this book is crazy, right? So you've got this massive collector app that a lot of people within our community have, right? And in where you live, there may not be a book, close to, a comic book store close to you that actually has the book, if even in your state. You may not have access to get it day of. And so, that's pretty intense. I wonder if if it was switched on us, like what if there were no shops in the DFW area that had Bad Idea Comics? Like, would we be part of that group of people that are pissed off at the fact that we can't get a book that's being hyped in the community?
I would say no, because there are an innumerable amount of books that are unobtainable for me for various reasons.
Right.
And you don't see me complaining about them because I
Right.
can't get them. I think it's cool to be a part of the experiment. But I also I really appreciate coming out with a hard stance, like a stance that is controversial and obviously not a harmful one, but one like this that's just like a business model and says this is what we're doing, and it doesn't matter if you like it or not. You are going to follow our rules, or you're
Right.
not allowed to be in. And like I talked to a guy on Twitter today, on my personal Twitter, because I wasn't very nice to him and I didn't want to be mean on two fat guys. And I was basically like, explain to me why you hate Bad Idea so much. And he was like, well, they basically made it impossible for online only retailers to become part of their sellable stores, because Bad Idea wanted you to be able to put in place a method that you could prove that you were only selling one copy of a book per person.
Right.
And the guy was like, as an online retailer, that's just like impossible. People can make up names all the time. And he was like, that's just bullshit. And I'm like, but in his same argument, he was talking about how you didn't sell that many books anyway, and you couldn't meet deadlines, and like, you weren't selling out books besides ENIAC, so you weren't even really doing that much. And so it was really confusing that a guy that was getting so upset about books that he wasn't going to sell a lot of copies of, at least according to him.
It is, yeah.
And I appreciate that the whole thing about Bad Idea was to be like a classic roots thing. No digital, no scalpy no scalping, no multiple issues. We're not doing collected editions. It's just you show up at your shop and you buy it. And actually, one of my favorite things about it that I think people don't talk about too much is that when you sub to the series at the beginning and you pay for all of the issues. I think that's a great way to help support local stores.
Well, and also it, like you were saying, like it forces people that wouldn't otherwise go into the store to go pick up the copy of Bad Idea to peruse and, oh shit, I haven't read so and so in years, or I want to go buy a here are all these collected and trades and hardcovers. Like it in theory, it gave the comic book store more exposure.
Yeah, I agree.
And anyone that looks at that and goes, well, I don't want to spend that much money. Well, I'm like, well, you're in the wrong hobby, bro. Like, that's what, it's just not free.
Well, you're not spending more money though, right? Like you're just,
No.
It was like for ENIAC, for instance, it was $16. That's 4 issues, $4 an issue.
Right.
And these are like prestige format books. Like
yeah.
These books are blowing Marvel books out of the freaking water with actual construction quality.
Yeah.
And
also like what, ENIAC was $3.99, right?
Yeah, they're all issues like that. Besides the Walesville double issue.
Right. So all the issues are $3.99. They're on like premium stock, glossy. And like DC, they've got that, but you've got to pay an extra $1 to $2 to get a book like that. So like they, like you're saying, like they elevated the game. Like last week we did Tankers #2, and that cover is amazing. Like I want to frame it.
Even better.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing is like their back covers are insane. And I told you when we first looked at that issue, I was like, man, I want that comic. And I'm like, well, it's not even a comic. It's just the back of the issue.
Yeah.
So
I was really into this today, just like getting on Twitter and just kind of looking a few comments that you get from their Twitter. So these are just direct responses to their official Twitter page. Someone said, "This is smoke and mirrors, of course. No one believes you." The Ron Burgundy, like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
It's been used a ton. But then you get really snarky people like, no one believes this post is true, but everyone wishes it was. Maybe you should reflect on that.
What the fuck?
It's like, okay, bud. You got it, bud.
Bro, it's comic books.
There was this one guy that was an online retailer. His response to this was "rest in piss." And I was just like,
I wonder though. Okay, then let's just play devil's advocate, right? Like,
Hmm.
I wonder really. Again, I go back to that question. Like, how would our perception or idea of this change if we didn't have access to these books and they're being hyped up? Like 100% hyped up, and like, hey, this is the next big thing. Like, that's literally when ENIAC 1 came out. We were both like, yo, and then Ron was like, yeah, I picked it up. Don't worry about it. I tried to tell you guys this like like a month ago that I was getting these books. So if we look at it from a retailer's perspective, and again, I'm just doing this for the sake of the conversation. I'm not like trying to like light a match or anything. But I got to wonder what the process was to apply for these books. Did you have to have a good standing with, some of these creators or owners, or was it just kind of like a random draw of the hat, name of the hat? Because like, I'm assuming a lot of people applied for Bad Idea Comics, and I'm wondering, I bet Ron had to sign some kind of document saying like, you can't do this, you can't do this, and you can't do this.
For sure.
And I'm sure that's the retailers that are upset about it, that didn't get access to it and now are being all pissy about it. They probably didn't agree to those mandates.
Yes, you're probably right, and we'll never. I don't know that we'll ever know for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to find that one quote. I don't know that we'll ever know for sure. I'm sure there are a little bit of like hoops that needed to be jumped through to make sure you're following the rules or whatever.
Right.
Like there are people out there that were like, "Oh yeah, these are a bunch of like rich golfer elites." It was the same guy that said "Rest in Piss" was like, "These are the high class rich golfer elites of comics, and they wanted you to roll out the red carpet and kiss their toes. And if you wouldn't do it, you're not going to sell their books. And good riddance because they didn't sell any books anyway." Like, man,
I don't know.
No. So to answer your question though, like, do I think I would tell someone to rest in piss just because I was upset about them? No, I don't think that's would be.
No.
It's like maybe I would be like, oh man, like, well, I couldn't get it, so it's not going to be around for a while, so whatever. But like, people are just. I don't want to get onto like a social commentary rant, but like, people are just so extreme now. Like, it feels like more now than before. People aren't allowed to have moderate opinions. Your opinion must be Bad Idea is the greatest comic idea ever. Or I want the members of Bad Idea to be decapitated and dragged to the streets.
Well, and I think
have an opinion between that.
Well, yeah, and I agree with you, but I also like you can apply this theory or just current time that we're in. It's usually the most absurd and outlandish comments are the loudest, yet they're the fewest, right? Because somebody that has a moderate opinion or just kind of like they don't find themselves in the position to be like, you know what, I'm gonna like they're like, you know what, I'm gonna go eat dinner. I don't need to waste 15 minutes thinking of the most snarkiest way to tweet at somebody or yell at somebody on social media or comment negatively on somebody's YouTube video. You know what I mean? And I think that's
for sure.
I would like to think that we try to exemplify the moderate opinion, and sometimes we do have more extreme opinions on things, but we're, like you said, we're never going to tell a comic book publisher or a comic book writer or artist to piss off or to like, I hope you fucking die. Like, that's not acceptable. Like, that's just, I mean, you're not working right there, bud. Like, you're in it for the wrong reasons at that point. So, you're right. It's ridiculous, and usually the minority is the loudest, and that's what we're seeing right now with Bad Idea supposedly announcing their closure, because we both are in the belief that probably in 2022 there's going to be a name change, and we think that Bad Idea Comics will be distributed more widely and more openly.
Yeah, so there's a lot of language in their very short response. Obviously, the one that everyone's grabbing onto is Bad Idea as we know it must end. Beyond, and then they end it with beyond that, Bad Idea in big bold letters.
Right.
Is over. And yeah, so I think and I honestly think, because this is their whole shtick, I think Bad Idea is going to hold on to this for the rest of the year. Like they're not going to just sit here and be like, nah,
Marketing
it's just
ploy.
a gimmick. Yeah, I think they're going to hold on to it for the rest of the year. And then, maybe December or something, we're going to see, um, you know, good idea comics or better
Yeah,
idea comics or
better idea.
something where it's open order. We're going to distribute through either Diamond or one of the DC guys.
Mhm.
Sell as many copies as you want. They're gonna just go be a normal publisher.
Right. Yeah. And
Uh, that's probably what they're gonna do.
no, I agree. And Ron kind
Um,
of at the shop already kind of alluded to it. He was like, "Don't worry, we'll, when it happens, we will be carrying good or better idea or good idea comics." So
mhm.
like, I think you're right. I think they're going to be back, and I think they're accomplishing what they set out to set out. They are a buzz, like they have been from the onset, and they're triggering all the minority, opinionated, overly bombastic, ridiculous ideas and attitudes toward the publisher. They're all triggered now, and Bad Ideas probably sitting, in their office going, "These guys are chumps," and they're laughing at it. And so, good for them. I think every time that we've seen something from Bad Idea, whether it's the way the book is made or any of this stuff, like we just kind of chuckle at it, and that's the idea. It's a social experiment, and it's also a commentary. It's an active commentary on the industry right now, and I think it's also injecting lifeblood into the industry. And if you can't get your book because there's not one in your state or around you, you find other means, and hopefully you find a way to just pay for cover price and not outlandish prices from some scalper that picked up copies over the months.
Yeah. Well, and see, I also think that there's a bigger meta commentary over this whole scalping slash first print, not first print. A
Yeah.
lot of people are saying that they were doing this for desirability, to make their books more desirable for collectors to really want them. And I almost think that they were really trying to shine a light on people and say, like, guys, you're gonna spend $100 on an ENIAC 1 with white letters when you can go buy one with black letters for
Right, it's the same
$3.99.
fucking book. Yeah.
Stop doing that.
Yeah.
I think that I truly think that them as comic creators are saying, like, I know you want to be one of the few that has the rare first print, but does it really matter? Does it really matter as a reader? And I know there's going to be someone out there that hears me say that and says, "Yeah, fuck yeah, it matters. I want it. I shouldn't have to pay $1 million for it."
Mm.
And I just don't know that I agree with that. I think that sometimes I don't know. Sometimes we put too much weight on those kind of things. I'm guilty of it too. And to be absolutely frank and honest, I'm sitting with the ENIAC #1 white label first print right up in my books. So it's easier for me to talk like this when I've got the nice book up there. But
and that's kind of why I brought up what I said before. Like, I wonder if our perspective, like, we'll never really know, but I just wonder if our perspective would be different if we didn't have access to the books easily.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it would be, but that's the beauty of this.
Yeah, and not that it matters because I can't even remember the Twitter handle. Like, it was like Peter Comics or something like that. But it looks like they have removed their very vulgar retweets. I've been going through the retweets and I can't find it. So it seems like
I'm
cooler
sure
head prevailed and they maybe pulled it down.
Yeah, they might have been like, man, I don't know why I told them that piss on their grave. Like, that just doesn't make sense. It's not nice.
It's pretty intense, yeah.
Not nice. Anyway, that's the breaking news for today. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm sure something else will fall in place for us to do another comic book news video. But, let us know what you think. Comment down below. I mean, do you have access to any Bad Idea books? Do you not? How do you get them if you do? And let us know what you think about this. Do you think they're actually canceled? They're closed, or do you think they're coming back? So leave a comment down below. Also, make sure to be subscribed, hit that bell, give us a like, And yep. Ooh, perfect. You did it. That's awesome.
That's good timing, or-
And as always, read more comics. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.